Hello, Cicero community. Welcome, parents and students, to Cicero Preparatory Academy's 2020 awards ceremony. Thank you for tuning in. It's comforting to know in a time when we must all be physically separated that we can still be united around something good, noble, and beautiful. That is the celebration of these incredible students and their accomplishments. It's important that we remember exactly what we're doing in honoring these students today. There are many awards given out around the country every year recognizing good work done, good grades, the accomplishment of tasks, and some that honor deeds of courage, of peace, or excellence in a field. And every award given out makes a statement about the person, yes, but also, and I think we forget this, a statement about what we value, what we treasure, what we think it is that is worth honoring. When we honor students for their academic accomplishments, we are not, like I think many educational institutions do, simply honoring their hard work. That is because what we are saying it means to be educated here is different altogether. We are not simply preparing students to be employable, though they will be. We are not simply helping them to be ready for the best universities, though they will be. We are guiding them in the task of educating themselves, of knowing. There is a whole universe out there, and we find ourselves travelers in it, tasked with the desire to discover it. How mysterious life is. We are all parts of a whole, and if we look at the whole, we might think tiny, insignificant parts, but not so. No, there are few things more significant in the universe than human beings. And why am I suddenly spinning off musing about the universe? Because we are parts of a whole, and that means we cannot know ourselves, our purpose, our happiness, our telos or end without knowing the whole. And so it is this wisdom that we seek in our education, the wisdom of knowing that which is outside self so that I can know myself, that I can see what I should do, so that I can properly fit into this great chain of being. In finding my purpose, I can seek excellence and find lasting joy in this life. So we're awarding not merely A's and B's, but a sense of wonder about the whole of which we are a part. We are awarding not merely good behavior awards, but a depth of inquiry that springs from the desire for wisdom, for virtue. We are recognizing the great joy that students take when they pursue the good, the true, and the beautiful. So, let the Cicero Preparatory Academy 2020 awards ceremony commence with our keynote speaker, our Dean of Students, Mr. Garcia.
I am so glad that I could be here today during perhaps the most fantastic apocalyptic event in our lives, that we could gather via the interwebs and reminisce about the year gone by and the greatness that is Cicero culture. I promise, I only remove my mask for the purpose of clear communication. While I joke a bit about our current situation, I'm aware that it's been difficult and that some have been very seriously affected by it. We should not let the difficulty of our current circumstance become a cause for despair. After all, people of hope are not conquered by fear or desolation. It is, in fact, the sign of the virtuous soul that in a most arduous hour, the soul does not give in to the temptation to run from the difficulty or to shut itself off from the world. Rather, the virtuous soul seeks the good in even the most difficult situation. He pursues it, and in turn, his own goodness is elevated. He increases the goodness in the world, and whether by word or deed, exhorts those around him to follow the same path. Cicero Prep, like the great liberal arts institutions of history, seeks to nurture the goodness of soul necessary for weathering the rocky waters that each of us are bound to encounter in this life. 200 years ago, a writer for the Frontier newspaper in Cincinnati wrote, "Should the time ever come when Latin and Greek should be banished from our universities, and the study of Cicero and Demosthenes, of Homer and Virgil, should be considered unnecessary for the formation of a scholar, we should regard mankind as fast sinking into an absolute barbarism, and the gloom of mental darkness is likely to increase until it should become universal." Now, while this may sound a little bit hyperbolic, he's not the first person in history to impart the importance of a liberal arts education. I want to make a bold claim. The education you receive at Cicero and at Great Hearts is fundamental for the peace and the happiness, not just of individuals, but for all of society. By the time of Cicero, the artes liberales had passed over to Rome and become the groundwork of the education for the Roman liber homo, or gentleman. The goodness of the liberal arts did not escape the Romans. However, by the 5th century, the Germanic tribes were invading Roman territory. The Romans encountered barbarians who did not share their love of truth and goodness. At the same time, Roman culture was wavering from within as a result of their refusal to put the speculative principles of the liberal sciences into practice. The conflict with the barbarians from the north proved to be too much for them. From within and from without, barbarism brought about the collapse of the Roman Empire. It was Christendom's revival of the liberal arts and its education of leaders such as Alfred the Great of Wessex or Charlemagne, the Holy Roman Emperor, that once again brought peace and civility to the West. Alfred the Great, who faced the invasion of the Danes in the 9th century, was at one point removed from his throne and hid in the marshes for nearly a year. He regained his throne in 878, but the Danes continued to ravage England. You see, the Danes weren't really concerned with the common good of civilization. They were uneducated both academically and morally. While Alfred the Great was preoccupied with the suffering, he never lost sight of the importance of imparting a liberal education to his subjects. In a letter he wrote to Bishop Werforth, he outlines the necessity of renewing education for the good of the English society. At one point, acknowledging his own great responsibility, he says, quote, "Consider what punishment shall fall upon us for the sake of this world, if we have neither loved wisdom ourselves, nor suffered other men to obtain it." Alfred the Great, like so many of the medieval kings, were civilized by the liberal sciences, and they understood the importance of the implementation of the liberal sciences for the good of civilization. And what kind of medieval history teacher would I be if I didn't mention Charlemagne, at least? Charlemagne, from the lineage of those barbaric Germanic tribes, would become the Holy Roman Emperor and unite the West under his rule. While he himself was unable to read, he made the liberal education of his subjects a foundational principle of his rule. He appointed Alcuin to teach those who had recourse to him. In The Monk of St. Gall, the life of Charlemagne, we're told, quote, his, Alcuin's, teaching bore such fruit among his pupils that the modern Gauls or Franks came to equal the ancient Romans or Athenians. The classical liberal arts seeks to civilize and prepare men to enter into the public square with joy, courage, and civility. To enter into the public square not merely as great intellectuals, but intellectuals with a heart for the good of mankind. The great men of history recognize this. Certainly, the pursuit of academic excellence is a part of the pursuit of the liberal arts, but the pursuit of moral excellence cannot be separated from this endeavor. We don't read all these great books just to talk about them in a circle. They're not merely speculative. They inspire us to live lives of heroic virtue. In every grade, in every class, we find what binds us together is the unity of our souls in pursuit of those intrinsic and objective principles of truth, the ordering of our mind to right reason, and of goodness, that which pertains to the ordering of our human activity to those known principles of truth. The pursuit and practice of these eternal principles bring about man's happiness and therefore a culture of peace and mutual self-giving. The great kings were not great because they imposed their will upon everyone, though ruling occasionally does demand that. Rather, because they knew that truth and goodness were the path to happiness. They sought it for themselves, and they practiced it in view of their subjects. There's more to our academic life than simply getting good grades or getting into the best university. The great kings knew this. When our study is set in the context of discovering true principles, our human activity is elevated by those principles, and the elevation of human activity for the love of the true and the good transforms culture. Our unity in the pursuit of truth and goodness are the strengthening bond keeping the barbarians from breaching those short fences around the campus. Why have we made the choice to remain at Cicero? I hope I speak for all of us when I say that we stay here because we recognize that this culture, while it's no utopia, is elevated by its staff and students and a shared love of learning, love of each other, and a desire for continued growth and virtue. It's not perfect, but it is truly special. Great culture depends on more than the king and his cabinet. It's not always easy, but as in the ordering of the great civilizations of the Athenians, the Romans, and the great kingdoms of Christendom, greatness of a culture depends on greatness of soul and the goodwill, not just of the king, Mr. Julian, but of every subject, all of us, right? And so we've developed, I believe, a culture at Cicero in which a soul is free to search for the truth and live the good life that accompanies that truth. This journey is shared by so many of us. There are many people of goodwill who support and defend the good in their studies and in their relationships. Often, even in the face of conflict and disagreement, civility prevails among citizens of the kingdom of Cicero. It's a culture marked by those great-hearted souls who love you, your teachers, your parents, your friends, and your peers. We want what's good for you. You want what is good for us. We want what is good for each other. Ultimately, we seek the path of happiness together. We can guide you in wisdom and we can teach you, but ultimately you have to prefer truth and goodness for yourself. And the culture of Cicero is one that is saturated with young men and women of goodwill who model and encourage the pursuit of virtue. If a member of the student body is from the mission, the dean isn't always necessary because the culture is one in which the student body is often willing to correct those who opt for activity contrary to the mission and help them to get back on track. As a teacher and a dean, I've had the great privilege of seeing the growth of a number of students over the last 4 years. I recall a young man whom I met my first year here who could not find the mean in the virtue of amusement. Aristotle says that, quote, since laughter is quite popular, most people take more pleasure in fun and in joking reproach of others than they should. This is called excess, the pursuit of virtue. This young man was quick, oftentimes, to make fun of others. And often when he would see me from across the quad, he would yell at the top of his lungs, yo, dog. Not that I would ever, but Aristotle would refer to this excess of amusement as buffoonery. But tact is the mean of the virtue of amusement. And over the years, I've watched this young man become an amazing listener, one who seeks the wisdom of others so that he can grow as a man, Rarely do I see or hear him engage in what Aristotle calls buffoonery. He has developed a deep concern for the good of others, and I cannot recall the last time he referred to me as dog, at least not in public. This is not to say that laughter has been outlawed at Cicero. It is to say that in my experience, finding the mean, tact, and amusement can be the difference between cultivating deep and lasting relationships and alienating other people. Another area of particular growth I've seen among the student body is over the last few years is in the virtue of prudence. According to Aristotle, prudence is a virtue that guides human activity according to reason. It helps us to govern what is good and bad for us. That's pretty simple. So we deliberate a little bit before we act so that we can figure out if this thing is actually going to be good for us. You'd be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't, I don't know, to know how many students show up at my office as the dean now. And they say, I had to do it because Jimmy made me. Or, that's not Jimmy anybody, that's just Jimmy some, that's throwing it out there. Or I didn't really poker with my pencil. The teacher simply doesn't like me. I've worked closely with many of you, and frequently it seems that you're considering with greater prudence the good and bad of your actions. Last year, I had a student who had a bit of trouble early on in the year, and so we had a morning meeting every day. And when we first started meeting, he said, the reason that I get into trouble so often is because none of my teachers like me. There was an inability to consider perhaps there was something going off in the deliberating part of his human activity. In fact, it was mostly just his teacher's fault. So I said to him, consider these three things, if you would, please. Before you act, I want you to ask yourself these three questions. Is this the right place? Is this the right time? And am I pursuing this in the right way? Now, it's hard to know if he's listening. I never know. But I find out. By the end of the first semester, he was receiving no discipline. The scowl on his face had disappeared and been replaced actually by a smile. Our meetings had become these very joyful events in the morning. When I asked him toward the end of our time together whether he still believed that the problem was whether or not his teachers liked him or not, he actually responded by saying, no, I don't think that was the problem. It really was just my behavior. He changed. He worked at it. He discovered that the prudent man is a happy man. My work is filled with amazing stories like that, of students finding happiness through recognizing the pursuit of a virtuous life is really the only way to obtain it. But I won't continue with them, even though they're fun. The culture, though, at Cicero Prep is filled with young men and women who are open to pursuing greatness of soul that so many people find elusive. It's a culture that I'm proud to have served for the last 4 years, and one that I will dearly miss. Soon, each of us will embark on a new path. Some of us will stay, some of us will move on to other adventures. Whether you stay or you go, the pursuit of truth and goodness will remain a constant. I leave you with a conversation from between Charlemagne and Alcuin. Charlemagne, longing for the perfect peace and joy that accompanies the culture of virtue, lamented that things were not going quite as he wished. And he said, quote, "Would that I had 12 clerks so learned in all wisdom and so perfectly trained as Jerome and Augustine." And after some thought, Alcuin replied, "The maker of heaven and earth has not many like to those men. And do you expect to have 12? Cicero Prep. Let us move forward, bound together in the pursuit of excellence. Let us set the bar ever higher, remembering in humility that with the pursuit of any great goal, there are bound to be expectations that we will not meet, failures that will strengthen our resolve, and victories that will convince us to persevere. Never be discouraged because you are not alone in this journey. We love you, and each of us is here for you. Thank you. I give you back to the king.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Thank you, Mr. Garcia. That was awesome. Okay, we're going to start the awarding of awards portion of this ceremony of awards. And we will start with our academic awards. So I'll call out the middle school cum laude and the middle school magna cum laude. And that translates to B's or better in every quarter all year long. If your name is not called right away by me and you're an athlete, that is because Coach Hunt will be delivering these awards, these same awards for those who are also athletes. For middle school cum laude, Riley Blymeyer, Alec Brennan, Nika Caggiano, Catherine Kim, Jacobo Martinez Ramirez, Elizabeth Murray, Sophia Philippus, Isabella Bausman, Ella Clancy, Emily Greenhow, Olivia Hyman, Katie Herr, Sophia Coe, Evelyn Olberhotzer, Ellie Tweet, Davini Westrom, Wesley Bostwick, Claire Johnson, Anna Schultz. Let's all give a round of applause from our couches for these students. Now, for our high school cum laude. B's are better in all quarters this year. Grace Blanchard, Savannah Collings, Hannah Everett, Finn Fitzgerald, Charlotte Hissler, Kiana Kundrat, Lana Sherman, Sophia Skojek, Andrew Smith, Taylor Walls, Corey Zacher, Aaliyah Lind, Joseph Longo, Daniela Lugo, Jimena Perez, David Pinkerton, Lena Rod, Abigail Tang, Noah Tang, Sasha Walani, Anthony Capriola, Ross Horowitz, Jonah Murray, Joseph Pell, Sophia Skotnick, Isabel Ventiker, Benjamin Vogel, Sebastian Bauer, Stephen Connor, Catherine Dodd, Kaylin Swartz. Let's give a round of applause to all of our high school cum laudes. Now for magna cum laude for the middle school, those students who received A's in every quarter all year. For the middle school, Chloe Hennessy, Zachary Zelkin, Kaya Del Carpio, Andre Johnson, and Talia Udelman. Let's give a round of applause for our magna cum laudes. For high school, Sari Irizarry Elivo, Pierce Leistenfeltz, Luke Murray, Quinn Eisenfeld, Sophia Gu, Rylan Hammond, Sadie Krotonsky, Madalena Longo, Sarah Markovic, Olivia Ventiker, Tony Capriola, Jillian Cash, and Joya Cash. Let's give a round of applause for our high school magna cum laudes. Great work, students. Next, Coach Hunt will read out our awards for cum laude and magna cum laude for those who are also participating in athletics throughout the year.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Cicero community. I hope you're doing well. Everyone is healthy. We miss you lots, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Before I get into the awards, I just want to thank everyone who helps make our program run a little smoother. Some of you go above and beyond the call of duty to help our athletic program run, grow, and be successful. For that, I am so grateful. Thank you for that, because I cannot do it alone, and you need to help own your program. So much appreciation. Thank you. I'm going to start with our middle school awards for high academic honors for Bs, so cum laude. This is a direct reflection of our core athletic values that we have for you for work ethic, time management, commitment, and accountability. So great job. Chloe Allen, Lily Allen, Ava Cagliano, Edge Conley, Carly Crandall, Sophia Cuevas, Daniel Dolanek, Audrey Evers, Alexandria Farina, Marin Fitzgerald, Mirabella Foreman, Ethan Fowler, Piper Harlock, Gianna Holcomb, Maggie Hoopa, Catherine Johnson, Jacob Kratonsky, Tiara Martin, Kylie McEwen, Lucy Mueller, Adam Myers, Madeline O'Leary, Isabella Pikus, Jackson Potter, Isadora Rodriguez, Kara Schillinger, Alejandra Artiles, Annika Tiku, Kieran Walsh, Lily Weinstock, Dylan Wood, and David Yorkowski. Let's give a round of applause for those athletes with Bs or better. Staying with middle school, we're going to do high academic honors, magna cum laude, for all A's. Chloe Crandall, Eleanor Adams, Sam Wilhoit, Miles Rubel, Ava Jaswin, and Cruz Reichert. Let's give them a round of applause. Next, we'll move into our high school cum laude for Bs and better. Beck Alway, Andre Galowitz, Colin Hoopa, Bella Skotnick, Rohan Churi, Ari Flores, Senior 2020, Cade Wing, Matthew Johnson, Mary Kate Lewis, Senior 2020, Anna Linney, Dominic McCarver, Braden Mealy, Landon Moomey, Asher Rouse, Kruthi Shankar, Senior 2020, Mayuri Sridharan, Zach Van Voorhees, Senior 2020, Sage Victorson, Ernestine Wallace, Zoe Walsh, and Parker Zidell. Round of applause for our Bs and better cum laude. Next is our high school magna cum laude, A's and better. Lola Cravath, Ander Dow, Johanna Hissler, Senior 2020, Eric Malik, Quinn Nebgen, and Amy Strohmeyer. Round of applause for our A's and better. I have a few more honorable mentions here for some other awards we're going to do before we get into our individuals a little later on. I'm going to recognize a few athletes that received special awards through the Arizona Interscholastic Association, AIA, for their efforts on the court or field. We have some honorable mentions for the 2A Metro region this year. You had to be nominated for the first or second team in order to be considered for the honorable mention. Kruthi Shankar, volleyball. Sage Victorson, volleyball. Goyen Brown Lopez, basketball. Ernestine Wallace, basketball. Desi Smith, basketball. And Quentin Brooks for basketball. First team, all region for the 2A Metro this year. This is our first ever 2A region first team award in the history of the school. Senior 2020, Zach Van Voorhees, basketball. Couple team recognitions. Our flag football team in the Great Hearts Middle School League went undefeated in winning the championship flag football this year. So congratulations to them. At the AIA state level, Lola Cravath placed 19th and medaled in the cross country state qualifying event this year. And then boys basketball, the team made history going to state for the first time in school history into the round of Sweet 16. So congratulations for that. One final award that came out from all of this is a sportsmanship award that Cicero Prep as a whole school was nominated for this year by the 2A Metro Region Conference. This is the conference that we participate in. We were one of 6 schools that were nominated at the 2A level to win possibly the state award. Sadly, we did not win that award, but again, we were one of 6 schools nominated. Regardless of not winning that award, I can't tell you how pleased and excited I was that we got this award. First coming into Cicero, I saw some things on our court observing the first year that made me wonder if that would be possible in the first couple of years of my existence here. I'm happy that you proved me wrong and this event came sooner rather than later. It is a direct reflection of your truth, beauty, and goodness that is a part of our Cicero Prep Academy and Great Hearts Network that shows what we're about. So congratulations, everyone at the athletic family, for making sure we got that honor. Now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Hayes, and he is going to do our Latin and Greek awards.
Thank you. As Coach Huntz just mentioned, I'm here for the Language Awards for Cicero Preparatory Academy. To put it in context, in case other family members are watching, all of the students at Cicero Preparatory Academy in 6th, 7th, and 8th grades take Latin. And then when a student joins us for the upper school program in 9th grades or above, there are 3 language tracks. They could take first more Greek and Latin, 2 more years of Latin, and then 2 years, junior and senior year, of ancient Greek, or could take Spanish, or that we now have French as well. Students in all of these languages this year took a national exam administered by a national association. Unfortunately, today, I do not have for you the results of the French and Spanish exams. Because of the exigencies of these times everywhere in America, those associations lengthened the testing periods in which students were allowed to take the exams, and therefore the results are simply not available yet. But I am excited, perhaps sometime over the summer or in the fall, to be able to share with you all which of our students did particularly excellent jobs and were showing off their knowledge of French and Spanish through those national exams. Today, what I do have for you are the results of the National Latin exam and the National Greek exam. I will announce them working up from our Latin 1 students who took the Intro to Latin exam and up by grade level. And for each grade level, I will work from those who's perhaps earned a high level of merit than to those who earned a very high, more distinguished award. Now, I thought to say perhaps before beginning the very long list of names, earlier today, I had thought perhaps to ask for your patience with me working through the long list of names. And then I thought here that is not actually something for which we should extend patience, but it's actually a large amount of rejoicing. I'm exceptionally proud of our students who have given me so many names to announce today because of their love of learning the language itself and through the other things they might be able to learn by using their Latin or Greek further on in their lives. So with no further ado, The intro to Latin test was taken by students again in Latin 1, which is mostly sixth graders, but some seventh and eighth graders as well. Oh, and I forgot to mention, these names are in no particular alphabetical order. So for a high level of merit on the Intro to Latin exam taken by our Latin 1 students, those who would earn a certificate once we are able to get certificates and medals and such things in the mail, which we have not yet, would include Piper Harlick, Lily Weinstock, Grace D'Souza, Isadora Rodriguez, Tyler Carter, Viram Bejarano, Tarek Elthanayan, Ethan Fowler, Gage Lee, Robin Butler, Daniel Dolanak, Riley Blymeyer, Mayella Reichert, Everett Marler, Nika Caggiano, Miriam Lawrence, Olivia Monroe, Lucas Doomer, Carradine Cole, Chloe Crandall, Madeline O'Leary, Athena Saragelis, Jessica Reitler, Caleb Young, Bally Bear, Noah Lassalou, Alexandria Farina, Skylar DiBarbieri, Brianna Hasselkuss, Peta Forsblade, and Nash Caldwell. For those who achieved a very high level of merit and will be hopefully, when again awards are mailed, receiving a ribbon and a certificate for their marks on the Intro to Latin exam, the list includes Annika Tiku, Elizabeth Murray, Audrey Evers, Catherine Kim, Kylie McEwen, Lena Kolakowski, Maria Irizarry Olivo, Jacob Martinez, Sophia Philippus, Priscilla Irizarry Olivo, Jessica Sherman, and Tamara Mekova. Then for Latin 1 exam taken by our students in Latin 2, there are 4 levels of awards. I will begin with the cum laude with praise. Earned at this level of award are Mr. Adam Myers, Mia Davis, Lucas Gallowitz, Matthew Lightman, Nicholas Quintana, Alana Alexandrov, and Trip Cochran. At the magna cum laude level of award are Matthew Getzoff, Dane Stevens, Katie Herr, Christian Camerata, Miles Rubel, Maggie Hoopaw, Chloe Hennessy, and Lucas Schraka. At the silver maximum cum laude award level for achievement on the Latin 1 exam are Alpha Canonoy, Kayla Merkel, L. Tweet, Zachary Rich, Matthew Hodgson, Beshoy Naruz, Myron Fitzgerald, Emily Greenhow, Ella Clancy, Elizabeth Bausman, and Zahara Shikari. And at the final level, the gold summa cum laude award for the National Latin 1 exam are Sam Wilhoit, Connor Collings, Eleanor Adams, Max Holden, Caitlin Ulrich Power, Olivia Heineman, and Devani Westrom. Next are the 4 levels of awards again for the Latin 2 exam taken by our students in our what we call Latin 3, which is mostly our 8th graders. At the cum laude with praise level is Ludin Rees. Then at the magna cum laude level are Marley Smith, Isabella Picus, Austin Fowler, Nene Doomer, Lily Allen, Taylor Tomey, Lily Russo, Cara Schillinger, and Marco Martin. At the silver maxima cum laude level, Jake Walsh, Cruz Reichert, Jackson Potter, Kaya Del Carpio, Andre Johnson, Ava Jaswin, David Yorkowski, and Ava Caggiano. And at the highest level of achievement, gold, summa cum laude, on the Latin 2 national exam are Claire Johnson and Talia Udelman. That closes out the portion of our middle schoolers who achieved well on the National Latin exam. For the two high school levels of Latin, the ninth graders in Latin 4 took what is called the Latin 4 prose exam over writers like Cicero and Caesar. And on that, uh, who scored cum laude was Luke Murray, and magna cum laude was Ashley Vincennes. Then, too, in our 10th grade Latin 5 class, they took our students took the Latin for poetry exam, and on that, Joseph Longo scored magna cum laude. At the silver maxima cum laude exam level was Abigail Tang, and at the gold summa cum laude level of achievement on the Latin for poetry exam was Madalena Longo. If we could hear it for a high school Latin learner. Then again, we have results from the National Greek exam, administered by a slightly different association, but somewhat similar in format. We have 3 possible levels of award: green for merit, red for a high level of achievement, and a blue ribbon for the highest level of achievement. Again, this is a 2-year class at Cicero Preparatory Academy. 11th graders would take Greek 1 and take the Introduction to Attic Greek exam, Attic being the dialect spoken in ancient Athens. And then the Greek 2 students take the beginning Attic exam. So for our Greek 1 students in 11th grade, the green merit award goes to Miss Ernestine Don Wallace. The red award, the red ribbon for high achievement, goes to Mr. Anthony Capriola. And a blue ribbon for the highest achievement goes to Mr. Jonah Murray. Then for our 12th graders, taking an excellent class on ancient Attic Greek, Miss Jillian Cash earned a red ribbon for a high level achievement. If we could hear it for our high school Greek students. So that closes out the awards I do have for you at this time for Greek, Latin, and Spanish and French. But if you are a student who did take a Spanish or French national exam, please stay tuned, and hopefully later this summer or in the fall, we will be able to tell you more about what those awards are and how well our students did as soon as we hear back from those associations. Now I'll turn you back over to Mr. Alex Julian.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes. I think that's wonderful that there were so many names called, and I agree that it was not an occasion for patience, but an occasion for joy. Next, I will be reading a new award that we're doing this year, and it's for excellence in disciplines. And we thought it was really important, given that we are a liberal arts school, to recognize those who are showing not just excellence in terms of their aptitude, but also excellence in terms of their love and joy for the thing. These are students who cannot get enough of these subjects. So they only cannot get enough of them, but they do very well in them. And as I said before, that this pursuit of the liberal arts is not merely for a career or for college. We also thought it would be helpful for students to see what we see in them already, what we as teachers see in them already in terms of being rising scientists or writers or musicians, and that is probably more valuable than any career test you might take. That, wow, someone who knows me and loves me saw this in me early on. And we're hoping years down the line that some of our rising scientists or writers or musicians will come back to us as alumni and say, on that day in May in 2020 when you said that you saw this in me. That's what helped me to know what to do, what career to have in my life. So it's not merely that, but we thought it was important to recognize that. So for our rising linguists, those showing love and aptitude for the study of language in the high school and middle school, we have Anthony Capriola, Quinn Eisenfeld, Jillian Cash, Joya Cash, Sadie Krotonsky, Madalena Longo, Joseph Longo, Jonah Murray, and Corey Zacher. In the middle school, Ava Caggiano, Chloe Crandall, Audrey Evers, Marin Fitzgerald, Ava Jaswin, Claire Johnson, Sophia Coe, Jacob Martinez, Sophia Philippus, Jackson Potter, Cruz Reichert, Kara Schillinger, Anna Katiku, Talia Udelman, Caitlin Ulrich Power, Jake Walsh, and Zachary Zelkin. For our rising writers in the high school, we have Savannah Collings, Stephen Connor, Johanna Hissler, Colin Hoopaw, Sarah Irizarry, Anna Lini, Madalena Longo, Eric Malik, Sophia Skojek, Kaylin Swartz, Ashley Vincents, Sasha Walani, Corey Zacher. In the middle school, Claire Johnson. For our rising poets in the high school, Savannah Collings, Andrew Dowell, Pierce Leitzenfelds, John Lindsay, Blaze Reichert, Abigail Tang, Taylor Walls, Darby Williams, Corey Zacher. And in the middle school, our rising poets, Sophia Coe and Eleanor Adams. Our rising mathematicians in the high school, Tony Capriola, Sarah Irizarry, Dominic McCarver, Landon Mooney, Jonah Murray, Quinn Nebgen, Joseph Pell, Jackson Pofall, Kruthi Shankar, Mayuri Sridharan, Amy Strohmeyer, and Ernestine Wallace. In the middle school, rising mathematicians, Connor Collings, Chloe Crandall, Andre Johnson, Sophia Coe, Cruz Reichert, Zachary Rich, Anna Schultz, Caitlin Ulrich Power, and Zachary Zelkin. For our rising scientists in the high school, Andrew Dowell, Grace Charm, Lola Cravath, Sophia Gu, Jillian Cash, Joya Cash, Miriam Naruz, Jackson Pofall, Lainey Rendelman, Kruthi Shankar, Ben Vogel. In the middle school, Eleanor Adams, Alec Brennan, Bianca Carbone, Tyler Carter, Chloe Crandall, Catherine Kim, Shad Maruz, Ileana Mendez, Madeline O'Leary, Martin Perez, Arturo Solaris, Annika Tiku, Ami Avalis, Lily Weinstock, Sam Wilhoit, Caden Winter, and Zachary Zelkin. For our rising historians in the high school, John Lindsay, Silas Knapp, and Blaze Reichert. In the middle school, Aviram Bejarano, Ella Clancy, Sophia Cuevas, Audrey Evers, Alexandria Farina, Jake Krotonsky, Zachary Vayok, Kieran Walsh, and Zachary Zelkin. For our rising rhetors, and that is the art of speaking well, Savannah Collings, Stephen Connor, Abigail Dory, John Lindsay, Lana Sherman, Ashna Tiku, and Ashley Vincents. In the middle school, Eleanor Adams, Sophia Alfano, Sophia Coe, Caitlin Ulrich Power, Lily Weinstock, and Zachary Zelkin. For our rising musicians in the high school, Tony Capriola, Stephen Connor, Emma Erickson, Sophia Gu, Jonah Murray, Luke Murray, Sophia Skojek, Noah Tang, Ashley Vincents, Shannon McKee, and in the middle school, Shannon McKee, Cruz Reichert, Riley Rendelman, Annika Tiku, Viviana Whitrock, Zachary Zelkin. For our rising artists in the high school, Joshua Cantrell, Catherine Dodd, Rowan Drabick, Joya Cash, Jillian Cash, Landon Mooney, Quinn Nebgen, Asher Ralphs, Valentina Rodriguez, Mayuri Sridharan, and Ian Stepanek. In the middle school, Lily Anderson, Robin Butler, Ava Caggiano, Bree DeBarbereri, Audrey Evers, Maria Irizarry, Abba Jaswin, Catherine Kim, Lena Kolakowski, Kylie McEwen, Lucy Mueller, Sophia Piotrowski, Kara Schillinger, Kaya Schillinger, Annika Tiku, Talia Udelman, Lily Weinstock. For our thespians or rising actors and actresses, Sebastian Bauer, Stephen Connor, Harrison Drabick, Emma Erickson, Eric Malik, Miriam Naruz, and Ashna Tiku. And for the middle school, Talia Udelman. And for our rising philosophers, the king of all the disciplines, we have Anthony Capriola, Madison Carey, Drew Collins, Stephen Connor, Danish Kapoor, Sadie Krotonsky, Margaret Lindsay, John Lindsay, Jonah Murray, Bella Skotnick. And in the middle school, Eleanor Adams, Sophia Coe, and Zachary Zelkin. That is it for our Excellence in Discipline Awards. And next, we will be doing individual awards for service, leadership, character, and academic achievement. To start us off, it will be Ms. Brown with our Exemplary Service Award.
All right, thank you, Mr. Julian. So the Exemplary Service Award is awarded to mentors who have been a model of service to others throughout the year. Starting with 9th grade. In 9th grade, we have Colin Hoopaw and Savannah Collings. In 10th grade, Dan Lott, Tristy Edwards, and Ashlyn Erickson. In 11th grade, Asher Ralphs, Ian Stepanek, and Amy Strohmeyer. And in 12th grade, Mariah Alfaro and Stephen Connor. Let's give them a round of applause. And now introducing Ms. Reichert for the Exemplary Leadership Award.
I'd like to present the Exemplary Leadership Award. This is awarded to students who are part of our student leadership program for Houses, Senate, Spirit Club, Centurions in Service, and peer tutoring. And these are students who were exceptional models of leadership this year. For 9th grade, Savannah Collings. 10th grade, Quinn Eisenfeld. 11th grade, Quinn Nebkin and Jeremy Thomas. And for 12th grade, Ari Flores. And please welcome Mr. Yost to give us the Weartus Award.
Announce the Virtus Award, or as it's known in some circles, the Virtus Award. This is an award given for consistent display of outstanding goodness, virtue, and great-heartedness at Cicero Preparatory Academy. Starting in the 6th grade, and Audrey Evers. In 7th grade, Avi Bejarano and Maggie Hoopaw. In 8th grade, Thomas Wetzler and Sydney Parton. In the high school, 9th grade, Abigail Gadori and Luke Murray. In 10th grade, Ashlyn Erickson and Ander Dowell. In 11th grade, Kayla Thielen and Asher Ralphs. And in the 12th grade, Sebastian Bauer and Emma Erickson. It is now my pleasure to announce Mr. Martel, Distinguished Teacher of Astrology and Alchemy, who will be presenting the Sciencia Award, or known in some circles as the Sciencia Award.
Good afternoon, Cicero Prep. Only about half of that was true. The Scientia Award celebrates superior academic performance at Cicero Preparatory Academy. The winners are, beginning with 6th grade, Ms. Chloe Crandall and Mr. Alec Brennan. For 7th grade, Ms. Sophia Coe and Mr. Zachary Zelkin. In 8th grade, Miss Talia Udelman and Mr. Jake Krutansky. In high school, for 9th grade, Miss Sarah Irizarry and Mr. Eric Malik. For 10th grade, Miss Sadie Krutansky and Mr. Andrew Dowell. And in 11th grade, Miss Mayuri Sridharan and Mr. Jonah Murray. It is now my pleasure to invite Mr. Hunt to present the Iron Centurion Award.
Actually have the Iron Centurion Award, and we have the male and female athletes of the year for the high school level. And as we announce those real quick, one final note, we just want to say thank you to our seniors from at least across the board. You guys have been amazing for us. Thank you for representing us not only in the classroom, but on the field and on the court. And we appreciate and miss you guys and wish you the best of luck. Believe in yourselves because we believe in you. Our athletes of the year, female and male, are going to be given obviously to the individuals with the most success over the course of the year and who have received the highest honors this school year. And they've already been announced earlier this afternoon. Your female athlete of the year is Lola Cravath, and your male athlete of the year is Zach Van Voorhees. Congratulations to those two. And then the final athletic award is the Iron Centurion Award. This award goes to an athlete who plays 3 sports, has high academic excellence, and displays exemplary character. And as last year, only one person was eligible for this award, and she has done a great job, and that's Lola Cravath. Thank you. I'm now going to turn it over to Mr. Julian, who will present the valedictorian and the Salutarian Award, and he will close us out with closing ceremonies.
All right. Thank you. So this year is our first year in which, instead of the Scientia Award, we have our salutatorian and valedictorian. Our very first salutatorian has been an example of excellence in our school since she started in our inaugural year as a 7th grader. She has served in our mentor program, has tutored other students, has worked closely with our science department to help lead labs, and completed her work in investigating science with her capstone senior thesis on the limits of science. She did all of this while maintaining over a 3.9 cumulative high school GPA. Next year, she will go on to the Barrett Honors College medical program at ASU. Please congratulate with me, Jillian Cash. Great work, Jillian. Our very first valedictorian is someone who's shown incredible leadership in her high school years, both as consul of House Charlemagne and as a captain of the girls' varsity basketball team. In her senior year, she devoted part of her time every single day to build the culture of our high school, gathering support for events, posting flyers, and working with other students. She did this while maintaining over a 3.9 cumulative high school GPA. Next year, she will go on to the Barrett Honors College to major in nursing. Please congratulate with me, Johanna Hissler. Great work, Johanna. So I'd like to close out these ceremonies with an address to the students. Thank you for watching so patiently. And the only reason our ceremony has gone on long is because we have so many students to recognize, and what a joyful thing that is. So to the students directly, speaking to you now. Thank you all for watching and attending. I know that I speak on behalf of all of our staff and teachers when I say we miss you very much. Though we are all happy to still work to serve you remotely, there is a certain joy that is missing for us. It is the joy of seeing you all every day, of talking with you, teaching you, hearing about your life, watching you grow into young men and women of virtue. And we know that's happening, but we greatly miss seeing it. And while usually this time of year everyone is ready for a break for summer, we are looking most forward to seeing you again in the fall, because you are our students. And for a teacher or school leader, other than our own family or our faith, there is nothing more precious to us than you. We are so grateful that you are a part of this community. Thank you for coming to school every day, excited, joyful, with a love for us teachers, staff, and one another. We can't wait to see you again. One more week. Have a great summer. And to the 8th graders, I want you to know that I hope to see every single one of you again in the fall. I'm saddened and can't send you off today, that I can't send you off today, because I know some of you will go off to other schools. And you'll do great work, because you're great young men and women. And I hope that you find your teachers and this curriculum have served you well. We're putting together one last social for the summer, and we will do it however we can, as soon as we can. I'll be there, your teachers will be there, and I'm greatly looking forward to seeing you. Thank you for your hard work and commitment to us all up until the end. To 11th graders, our rising seniors, we are so proud of you. After next week, you will be the leaders and examples at our school. You have a big act to follow, but I know you're up for the task. I couldn't ask for a better group of students to be leading our school next year. It was a joy and pleasure to get to know you all better at the junior retreat, and I look forward to striking up our conversations again in the fall. And to our 12th graders, thank you. From the bottom of my heart and from all the hearts here at Cicero, thank you. We will miss you all so much. Over the last 4 years, I've had the great honor of getting to know you so well. You're like family to me and to many of us teachers here. You helped to build this place, and it has become so good, so beautiful, and so true because of you lovely people. We are so incredibly proud of all the work that you've done over these last few years, but more so, we are just proud of the men and women that you have become. We cannot wait to see what you go off and do. We are so hopeful for you. You are truly excellent human beings. Please come back and visit us often. You are always welcome here at Cicero, a place that will hopefully always feel like home. Let's give one last big round of applause for all our seniors. Let's give a round of applause to all of our award winners. And to me for making it through that. Just kidding. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Good luck in this last week of school, and we'll see you again in the fall.